So we made our way down to the portal from the powerhouse, and we're gonna get our gear on and start making our way inside, and we'll see you inside momentarily. See down in there, you can kind of make out the rails still here. Again, looking down at the rails, follow those back. Looks like the rails end right about here, or that can't see them anymore. So we're starting to shallow up in the water a bit. I'll give you a shot here again, picking up the rails again. So now, for the most part, we're out of the water, just a few inches left. So now you can see the rails really clearly. So this mine was multi-level, and we'll explain that a little more when we get to some of the features back here. And there were levels below us, and then there was also some workings above us as well. Here you can see maybe what looks like some of the ties for the rail when they were taken up. Actually, in this one, you can see that the spikes are still in it. That would have held the rail. Some veins of quartz. Yeah, I don't know. It just look. It is kind of look like a granite, a white granite. Looks like in here they stored a bunch of the old shoring, or somebody put the old shoring and some of the rail tie in this little drifted out area. Here we have, looks like a little bit of a collapse. Get through this without getting too wet. And here, you can see where they were scoping up. see how far up that goes. The material that was coming down from the stove, they put the shoring in these boards here just to kind of protect the tunnel from all that material. I'd say probably goes up 60 feet, 70 feet, something like that.
Maybe more.
Yeah. So now we're back in a little bit of water here. Looks like a couple feet, maybe. Hard part is there's a lot of debris on the floor or the water that you just kind of can't see, so you trip over this stuff. See this kind of slab here, how it's squared off. It's just kind of interesting looking. All right, so we are at a intersection here, and we got it forward. Looks like it goes a little ways to the right, and then we'll save the left here. So let's go ahead and do the right-hand rule. I'll go to the right. Looks like this goes back a little ways here. It looks like it faces out. Maybe not. It does, but it has a little more to go here to the right. Looks like some timber, some shoring left, and yeah, it's definitely just where they stopped. In this portion, there isn't a whole lot of what I'm looking at as far as a lot of mineralization or big veins that jump out at me. Don't see a lot of color. So we're back at the intersection we came in, and we're going to go straight across now. So this is just something you're not going to see in a mine every day, and it's probably hard to see on camera and wrap your head around when you're actually in here. But this is a incline shaft that goes down about 200 feet to some sublevels, and it is really really cool. My light's not going to cooperate perfectly here, but we'll just show you the best we can. It is a really cool incline shaft. I don't think I've ever seen another one like it in any metal mines that I've been to.
And that's all full sport. That's scary.
Yeah, and in the back, I'm sure people like to go back and stand where my light's pointing there. And that is all definitely just wood. So depending on the condition of that, and it's not very new, it's probably not the best idea. And you can see down in here the cribbing that supports the sides of this, and then there's some cribbing on this side and then across the back end of this that's supporting the level above here. But it is really, really cool. And behind us, there is some stoping that goes up a raise. I think that thing goes up around 160 feet or something, if I remember right. Could be wrong. And then we'll check back here real quick. This is an area that looks like they may have used to store some stuff. It's kind of widened out. And then back here, it looks like it just faces out here. So this big area we're in, where the incline shaft is, was also known as the hoist room. And I'm sure the name implies why it was called that. I'll kind of give you a view from back here if I can. This is a view of the incline shaft, kind of catching the whole shaft in one shot here. So again, this is where we came in, to our right, and then we went off this right drift or crosscut here. And now we're just going to continue forward down the tunnel. So now we are again at a point where we can go right or left, and we're going to stick and go right. And we'll come back and check that left out. Looks like a little area they kind of worked back into, and it just stops. And you can see the airline running along where the tracks were here. Like we got a hard left here in the tunnel. Again, some trash and some rail tie. And then the airline again picks up for a minute anyway. Looks like some explosive back in there. A little bit of mineralization here, but not. See how these walls look. Kind of fractured and jagged there. So now we're coming into an area that is the vertical shaft or vertical winds. Which you can see here. So this thing, like most winzes, you can see the cribbing over here, and there probably would have been some planking there, and then the planking right down here in front of me is all the collar. So that collar has nothing underneath it as far as ground, it's just the wood, and this wood is pretty old. So you got to be careful if you come in places like this that you understand that, and that you recognize that walking up to the edge of where the water is does not necessarily mean you are in a safe place. You have to know the difference between where the collar ends and starts versus the ground you're standing on. So just a little mine exploration safety tip. So I'm not sure exactly the depth of this winze. You can see the ladder on the other side there. So one thing we get asked about quite often, even sometimes scolded or criticized for, and that is the belief that we just come to these mines and we go charging in without any understanding of what we're getting into, and that is absolutely 100% false. We've been exploring abandoned mines in Washington for about 15 years, and we've mentioned this in a previous video. We do research on the mine before we explore it. We try to understand the potential hazards that the mine may have, so we're prepared. Sometimes people talk about atmospheric conditions, oxygen, gases, things of that nature. So something that we probably should have shared in earlier videos that we didn't, but some of the safety precautions we take is we do bring a gas and O2 meter with us. That's fully calibrated, and as you can see on this one, we're showing 20.1% oxygen, and so if you're in the 19 range, you're dropping into acceptable, but if you get below 19 and you're going somewhere between 16 and 17, it's starting to become problematic. Then anything below that is just not safe. So this is something that we have that we just clip on, and it secures really well, and it is just honest the whole time. It has voice information that it gives, so it'll start telling us if any of these gas readings or oxygen readings change to levels that are outside of the parameters that it's set for. So that's just some information. Another thing we'll mention is we don't advocate, and we're not making videos to say you should go find mines and explore them. We do it because we want to share the history. This is something we've spent a lot of time doing, so we have some understanding and experience. But again, we're not saying that people should just go out and find these and just go running in without having an understanding of what they're getting into. With that said, even with the precautions we take, we understand that we're assuming a certain amount of risk because even if you're doing everything you can to be safe, something always could go wrong. So we definitely understand that as well. So we'll get back to exploring here. So we're gonna take a closer look at this winze, and we're gonna shut the camera off, and then we're gonna grab our underwater camera and see if we can give you a better look at the stuff below the surface here. So these are like two of the larger winzes I've seen in mines, at least in Washington. So they're pretty unique. One item of note, people have crossed over the winds before, and back, if you continue forward, that tunnel does get oxygen deficient back there. We brought oxygen meters up to the winds here, and we were alarming below levels that are safe, but they're not dangerous. So it does definitely get risky, so we don't recommend if you figure out this place and come here. Two reasons why crossing the winds is not the safest thing, but also that tunnel does not have good oxygen back there. So just, again, another mine safety tip. We'll take another look here, one last look here at our cool vertical winds. And then off to the side here, you can see it continues over here as well, if I didn't show that earlier. So it spans the entire area of the floor on both sides. Come over here and show you. So there's one last look. And we're going to turn around and head back the other direction and check out the tunnel that went to the left. So head this way. So as we're walking down the main tunnel, there's this wooden channel, I guess is the best way to describe it. Kind of looks like some sort of a flume, but is definitely made of wood. It has like a tongue and groove to it. You can see right there. And it looks like it runs for a little ways and stops. So I'm not 100% sure what it was for, but maybe we'll look into it and see if we can find out, and we'll put it below. But if you know, put it in the comments. So this mine ended up not being very profitable. The ore wasn't what they'd hoped, and that's the reason it ended up shutting down around 1908, 1909. So it was a lot of work and a lot of workings here for an unfortunate, non-profitable effort. I believe this is where we were going to go left, or maybe not. It's a little further this way. This is where we were going to go check out before we went right. So we'll just make our way down here real quick. And it looks like, I don't know if these boards were some sort of shoring originally for where they were trying to stope there, or what they were doing. I'm not sure, a little structure of some kind. And it looks like this one also faces out back here. So this is a little bit interesting. It looks like a carbide lamp graffiti here. And can't quite make out other than there's a 2. And these slashes could have been indicating loads of something they were taking out. They did that a lot of times, where they would use tally marks for loads that came down chutes and that ore cart loads and whatnot. And then there's also an arrow right here. So kind of interesting. I haven't noticed any other carbide in here. And then over here, it looks like there was something else done as well. It looks like a 1, and then again there's some tally marks there and an arrow. So I don't know. I'm not sure why. It looks like it had to do with maybe the number of samples they were doing, coring or something. There's an arrow here, and there's some holes. So I don't know if they were indicating samples and marking where they were taking samples from. But it's kind of interesting nonetheless. And there we have an EA, which could have been, again, from the time period, or it could have been a later MineExplorer, but it is, if it's in carbide, it's probably earlier. Now, one thing you kind of see the color of the ceiling of the walls here, which has this like muddy sort of sooty stuff over it, but if you peel that back, you can see this granite underneath it, and that's what it would look like probably when it was first driven. And now you can just see what it looks like in terms of this kind of beige color that is coating it. So this is back where we started in, and you can see a little bit of that darker mineralized color up there. And just for fun, I think we're gonna go back to the hoist room and have a look-see at this shaft here one more time, just because it is so cool. Better, look at that. So there you can kind of get a better view. And one last look up at the rays, and goes up there a ways. See the rope continues up, actually past, so it definitely goes up. I don't know if this one goes to the surface or not, I don't remember. But anyway, it goes up a ways. And then really, you can see a little bit of copper staining here, which is really the only place I've seen it in this whole mine, is in this area, which is kind of strange, but also makes sense as to why it failed and it wasn't very profitable, I guess. And there's a little bit more staining over here. So we're gonna start making our way out of here, back into the depths of the water here. This kind of gives you a different look coming back across here at this raised area where they were going up. So you can kind of see what that looks like. So we came from the other way. Looking up, goes up quite a ways. Go around the waterfall here. So definitely going out, we can feel a lot of air movement coming at us. When we were walking in, you couldn't feel it quite as much because it was at our back. And when you get back, like by that winds and whatnot, you don't feel that. There isn't any real movement of air back there. And in fact, I think there might be a collapse somewhere that is actually causing that area to be more oxygen deficient. I'm sure someone probably picked up on this cord here that is running through here and why it's here. Based on the material it looks pretty modern. I don't know why it's here. I'm not sure if someone put that there just to find their way out, or I have no idea. All right, so now we're getting into the deeper water again, which means we're getting closer to the entrance. I can hear Forrest back there making some noises, which tells me I think his wader is sprung a leak.
Yeah, if anyone wants to donate new waders.
And there we can see daylight. So we were coming back down from the mine, and we kind of deviated off the trail because we knew there were some smelters out here for the mine. And we came across what looks like some remnants of some structures here. There's some timbers here. And then if you come down, and it's a little wet out, so I'm going to try to do this without slipping. Here, you can see what looks like some early makeshift concrete that made up like a foundation or something here. There's also brick, just like fire brick, everywhere out here. And here's one from Spokane, Washington. We'll have to look that company up. And part of another one. It's a little cleaner that has Spokane on it. And then down through the creek here, there are bricks all over the place. So we're going to look around this site for a few minutes and then make our way down to the smelter structures, which are a short distance from here. And we'll see you at the smelter. So we're coming down this creek, and there's still more fire bricks and other bricks in it. And right here, there's some hand stacked stones that make kind of a platform up right here. You can see the hand stacked stones. They kind of elevated this area here up to this level there. Come around the side of it here. You can see more of the stones there. And this platform kind of starts here, goes down, and comes over here. And here we have a concrete structure that was part of the original smelter for this mine, dating again to the early 1900s. I'll take a walk around this. You can see it's very old concrete, and kind of how crude the aggregates were, and even using some some fire brick. It looks like, or just regular brick, maybe a combination of both. But I'll try to back up and give you an idea of how big the structure is here. So, yeah, and you can kind of see it coming around. And then try to find a way to get around and see if I can get up above it. There's a lot of stickers out here. Now we're up above it here. You can kind of just see that it was empty. There's not really anything to see in there. But I thought we'd try to show you anyway, just in case. All right, so there's a second one out here that we're going to go find. So we'll see you when we get closer to that one. So there's the smelter structure we just came from, and as we're walking towards the other, there's this concrete pad here that's covered in moss. It's clearly man-made. It's got these bolts sticking out of several different places on it. It probably had a piece of equipment or a motor mounted to it. So we're gonna make our way towards the other smelter structure here. And you can see it in front of me. And this one's a little bit more impressive than the one we just looked at. Looks like someone left a shovel here. Come along the side of it here. It's a rather cool and interesting structure, given it's more than 100 years old. So that about does it for our trip to the Copper Hill Mine. We hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for coming along with us. We'd like to also say thanks for following us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you like our channel, we invite you to subscribe. And until our next adventure, take care.